Hi guys, welcome back to Griffin's Gaming Guides. Today we're going to be carrying on with our side quest guide as part of our Did It All Trophy or Achievement Guide for Tiny Tina's Assault on Dragon Keep, a Wonderlands One Shot Adventure. This time we're going to be looking at Post-Crumpocalyptic, which you can acquire by Moxxi in Flamerock Refuge. Now get yourself comfy because this is quite a long quest, this one. You need to collect 15 crumpets which are scattered throughout 5 areas in the game and are fairly easy for the most part. The locations you need to find the crumpets in are Flamerock Refuge, the Unassuming Docks, the Forest, Mines of Avarice and the Lair of Infinite Agony. And some of them can be very tricky to acquire, especially the ones in the Lair of Infinite Agony, so I'll talk you through what you need to do in the video as we go. Obviously the first few that are in Flamerock Refuge aren't too bad. You've got one just up near the exit to the forest on a crate. For the next one you need to cross the bridge next to the Seraph vendor and then cross over one of the cables that's kind of holding the area together. It essentially makes a bridge over the chasm where you can go over to a ledge and collect the plate of crumpets. And for the third one, you need to go down into the back area behind Flamerock Refuge and then interact with a corpse pile where you're going to be able to discover the crumpets. And just up to your right, if you haven't got it yet, you can get the Let There Be Loot trophy or achievement by using 10 iridium at the looter pole, which is up the stairs over to your right. Once you've got all 3 plates of crumpets in Flamerock Refuge, we're then going to head over to the Unassuming Docks. Now some of the areas you need to get through in order to get all of the crumpets for the Post-Crumpocalyptic side quest can be a little bit tricky, so I recommend going off and completing the main game first and then coming back. Obviously once you're strong enough to be able to take down the final boss, you'll then be strong enough to go through and complete every side quest on that given difficulty.
Anyway. It is a griddle cake made from flour and yeast, traditionally eaten with butter. All I ever eat, son.
Ever? Seriously? You should literally be dead.
No, dog! I'm gonna live forever!
Now that we're in the Unassuming Docks, for the first plate of crumpets, it can be a little bit difficult to get. You need to go up the stairs in front of you and then drop down onto the roof over to your right, and then very carefully drop down onto the balcony. Once you're on the balcony, turn around where you can then collect the plate of crumpets. This is one of the more tricky plates to acquire. For your next plate of crumpets, you need to go all the way to the end of the far jetty, where you're then going to be able to collect the plate on top of a crate. Be careful, as sometimes there's a badass skeleton that spawns. And then for the final plate of crumpets in the Unassuming Docks, you need to head all the way down to the docks, past where the golems are fighting the skeletons, where you're going to be able to find the plate of crumpets next to one of those red chests that you'll be able to get the Keep Rolling, Rolling, Rolling trophy or achievement from if you manage to roll a 20. Once you've got all 3 plates of crumpets in the Unassuming Docks, we're then going to head over to the forest. I'll see you over there.
Toss in the masher! Magic missile!
Maybe you should consider eating something other than crumpets. I brought food for lunch.
Oh God, what is that?
It's a salad.
Why is it green? It looks like the devil!
Just calm down.
It's staring at me.
So for your first plate of crumpets in the forest, you need to head through to the old blacksmith's cottage and then activate the well once you've cleared out the enemies. You can do it beforehand, but because they slap you about and send you in there and everywhere, for me, I'd much prefer taking care of them and then going to the well, activate the crank, where the plate of crumpets will then come up from the bottom of the well. I do love a soggy crumpet. For your next plate of crumpets, continue through the forest until you get to the first left before exiting out to the Immortal Woods. Right down the bottom, in the middle of all the spiders, is going to be a plate of crumpets. Not a good one for the arachnophobes, that one. Then for your third and final plate of crumpets, you need to head down to the Orc camp, staying to the right, where you're going to be able to see a cage which will be above you. Right above the cage will be a glowing green area, which is a weak point. Shoot it, and then the cage will fall down, allowing you to collect the crumpets. And once you've collected all 3 plates of crumpets from the forest area, we're then going over to the Mines of Avarice.
That was cool. Deploying sentry! Magic missile! Well done, darling!
Stop the heavy heads! Just want to talk life, why run?
Sentry deployed!
Work so hard.
Tina, I need you to do me a favor. Salad.
No!
Morty,
Let me
hold her
stop.
arms. Brick, keep her mouth open.
No! You
girl.
fascists! You can't!
Don't let her bite you too hard, Brick. If she gets a taste for blood, we're gonna have problems.
Right, and now that we're in the Mines of Avarice, getting some of these plates of crumpets in here, obviously there's only 3 of them, but one of them especially can be a little bit tricky. You're going to need to be a little bit cat-like in your movements. So for the first plate of crumpets, clear out the initial spiders and orc, and then follow the train tracks all the way up to the end, where you're going to find a train cart that will run away from you back down to the area you've just come from, and then go into that little shed area over there. Which, if you didn't see it quite right, is basically the end of the track. It crashes into the boulders, allowing you to then collect the plate of crumpets. Then for the second plate of crumpets, you need to head back up into the orc camp. There's nothing like doing a bit of back and forth in a Borderlands game, is there? Then you'll see a fire pit just up to your left. Behind the fire pit will be an explosive barrel that if you shoot it, it will then go up, bringing another cage down. Inside that cage will be your plate of crumpets. Right, we'll let the video catch up with itself. Obviously, we're just chasing the minecart back down the hill, because that's always fun. Then we'll go back up and get the one that I just mentioned, where you need to shoot the barrel. I'll come back in for the third one, because it can be a bit of a tricky one to get.
Not this.
Right then, now that we've got the second plate of crumpets collected, we need to head up to where Claptrap, the wizard, whatever you want to call him, opened up the gateway for you earlier on in the main story. Obviously, I did say at the start of the video, it would be best if you go through and complete the story beforehand. Now, the plate of crumpets is on the ledge that we just looked at over to the right side. And what we need to do is go all the way up and around and then very carefully drop down, being careful to land in the dead middle of the platform. As if you land on the ropes or you land a little bit too far left or right, you're going to fall down and you'll need to go back around and do it again. It's not the end of the world, but obviously it can be a bit frustrating when you've already fallen off 4 or 5 times already. So you'll know you're in the right place. Obviously, this is why I've left most of the enemies in, because it does help you get your bearings in the Mine of Avarice, especially if you're new to the game, or obviously if you played the DLC back in Borderlands 2 and you just need a bit of a refresher. When you see these 2 rock golems, you're on the right track. So you go up a little way. If you go too far to the right, which I'm about to show you, you'll look down and see a bridge. You need to go further left than where that bridge is and then drop down. It can be a little bit tricky, like I say, but with a little bit of practice, you'll land directly on that platform and then drop down to the lower level of the platform. Obviously, we land here directly on where the strings are. Drop down onto the crate. There's your plate of crumpets. And if you thought those plates were bad, we're off to the Lair of Infinite Agony, which does start living up to its name.
It was tasty. That's the problem.
Oh, the wonderful Lair of Infinite Agony. I don't like this area because it's like a maze that's multi-leveled and it is a... yeah, something I can't say because I don't want to get demonetised. So anyway, we've got obviously 3 plates of crumpets to collect in this lovely lair. So for the first one, from the fast travel point, you need to go forward, activate this lift, take it all the way up, where you can then go forward, drop down through, I believe they call it the whaler drop, but staying to the right as you're going to need to land on this ledge, which I just landed on myself, and then crouch down where you can collect that plate of crumpets. Then for the next plate of crumpets, we need to drop down, go in back around, go through the level as you normally would do to where Simon is, where you get the My Dead Brother side quest from. Then luckily this one isn't too bad. Take the elevator up, then about 2/3 of the way up you can jump off to the right, land on a support strut, where you're then going to be able to kind of angle yourself around. Now, it did take a few seconds for the game to actually register that I was going to collect the plate. For some reason, I didn't actually have the icon where I could press either square or X, obviously dependent on your console, to collect the crumpets. So just be kind of very gingerly moving yourself around. If you do fall off, not the end of the world, pull the lever, try it again. Eventually, you'll get the sweet spot. I mean, for me, I was in mid-air, which you'll see in a second. How the game kept me up there without falling down, well, I guess that's 2013 games for you. And then for the third plate of crumpets, you need to obviously fall off this little ledge that you're on, activate the lift, take the lift back up, then go around to your right, touch the cog where you're then going to be able to open up the double set of doors where all of the arachne spiders come down for you, drop down into the swamp area below, and then go forward and a little bit to the right where you're going to see a ladder. Take the ladder up, then follow the path around to the left where you can then collect the final plate of crumpets. Once you've collected all 15 plates of crumpets, you will no doubt have heard along the way that Tiny Tina needs a better food diet in her life, which is fair enough. You can't just live off crumpets after all. And you can then turn this side quest in with Ellie, where it will finally be completed.
Love that turret! Get some!
Wait, you liked the salad? Why is that a problem?
You know who likes the taste of salads? Adults! I don't want to be an adult.
Tina, you're talking to 3 grown people who just collected a bunch of imaginary crumpets because they thought it'd be fun. There's no such thing as adulthood.
You know what, girl? You make a good point. You get to live. Turn the quest into Ellie and I'll give y'all some XP.
So then guys, that's the Post-Crumpocalyptic side quest guide complete. I do hope that it helped you out. If it did, please press the like button. It does help us out a great deal. And then let me know down in the comment section which was the most frustrating plate of crumpets for you to acquire. And then also, whilst you're down there, you're going to see a little red button that says subscribe. Give that a click, then press the notification bell next to it. That way you won't miss out on any of our future uploads. You guys take care of yourselves, and we look forward to seeing you back here at Griffin's Gaming Guides.